In this lesson, we are going to be talking about layers. So this panel that we see here on the right called layers, where you can see that we have, for now, paint layer and background. Layers are basically like having stacks of transparent paper, one on top of the other. So each layer is a transparent page that goes one on top of the other. As you can see, Krita has as default when you open a new file, two layers already prepared. There is a background layer, which is fully white, and there is a layer right above it called paint layer, which is transparent. We can see the difference between the two of them if we click on these eye icons right on the left. So these basically take away the visibility of each layer. So every time we click them, we either switch on the visibility or we switch it off this way. So you can see here when we switch off the background layer, which was a fully white layer, a checkered texture will appear. This is the way the Krita shows when something is transparent. They use a checkered texture to show when something is transparent, which is also similar to what Photoshop does as well. An important factor of layers is the order in which they are placed. Every layer adds up on top, and so it covers what's underneath. So we can make an example. We can create a circle on this layer. And as we saw on the previous lesson, if we go into tool options and click fill background color, we can choose how the circle will be filled. So for now, let's just say that the circle will have the same color as the foreground color. So let's choose a color here. Let's go for a slight yellowy orange. And then let's choose a paintbrush. So let's go for a full paintbrush like this one. So also, as we said in the previous lesson, when we click and drag out, if we select our Shift key on our keyboard, we can have a perfect circle. So let's drag that out and create a big circle. So now you can see that we have a perfectly round circle and the border and the inside are filled in the same color. Now let's create a new layer on top. In this layer, we can create another circle, but let's choose a different color. Let's go for something like this and create another circle inside, always clicking Shift and maybe moving it a bit by clicking our Alt key on the keyboard, and we can move it slightly over here. And now we have another circle on top of this circle, but in a different layer. So what happens if we move this layer underneath? You will see that now the red circle isn't visible anymore. But if we were to click the eye icon on the orange layer, now the red layer is visible. And this is only because we moved the layer below the other layer. So if we turn on the eye icon again and we move our red layer on top again, now it is visible again. So this is because each page is one on top of the other. So if we wanted to create a new layer, what we would do is go down here to the plus icon, and automatically Krita will create a paint layer. This is a basic raster layer, and it is what is most commonly used in Krita, so it's what Krita uses as default. But if we want, we can click on the little arrow next to our plus icon. And here we get various options. We can have paint layer, group layer, clone layer, vector layer, and so on. But what we need and what you will mostly need in this software is definitely the paint layer. To make sure that you are painting on the right layer, you always need to have it selected. So if we want to paint on this layer, for example, you need to make sure to go above it, click on top of it, and when it turns to this shade of blue, it means that we are working on this specific layer. It is possible also to move the layers around by clicking on these icons here on the bottom. So if we want to move this layer to the bottom, all we need to do is select it and then click on this arrow on the bottom, and you can see that it moves. Same with the arrow on the right, you can click it and it will move right back up. Layers are very useful because this way we can make edits and transform what we have created inside each layer without having to touch anything else. So this helps with optimizing your work and making it easier to handle all of the different types of work that you might be doing on different layers. If you want to move a layer or what you have drawn inside of that layer, all you need to do is select the layer and then go into your toolbar here on the left and click on this tool here, which is literally move a layer. So we can select this and then you can click anywhere on the page and you will move what you have just drawn. If when you did this action, the other layer moved as well, that is because you need to go into tool options up on top and make sure that the first one is activated, move current layer. If you have move layer with content, then it will move whichever layer has content, but we can make an example by clicking the layer that has no drawing inside, no circles inside, and then click on the screen. It will still move the yellow circle. Move layer with content also means that it will select anything that is an object or a content. So if we click here, it will select the orange circle, but if we move it away and then we click here, it will select the red circle. So it basically will select wherever there are pixels in our page. We also have a move the whole group option, but we will see this in a little bit because we are going to talk about how to group objects as well. But the best option is definitely move current layer. It is the easiest and the one that we will use the most. So in this case now we can click on our second layer, select the pixels, the circle that we have created, and move it wherever we want. To organize our layers and optimize our work, it is also possible to rename them. And we can do this by double clicking on the layer that we want to rename. And here, for example, we can write red. And then you click anywhere, and now the name of the layer has been changed. So we can do the same to this one. We double click, and then we type whatever we want to call the layer, yellow. Also, to always help with organizing our work, if we have a layer, for example, that we know that we definitely won't want to modify and won't want to change, then we can click on this little lock icon that is here. If we click on this, then even though we have the layer selected, we won't be able to do anything to it. We can show this by clicking our freehand brush tool, for example, and now when we go on the page, you will see that this little stop sign will appear. So you can't do anything to the layer. And also this notification shows up, layer is locked. Instead, if we click on our red layer that isn't locked, we can do whatever we want. In this section on the right, we also have this icon right at the end, which is called the alpha lock. This is a very useful tool also because if we select it, this will allow us to create, let's select also our layer. This will allow us to add or change or modify anything inside the layer, but only where we have already created an image, so where there already are pixels. So for example, if I were to take the freehand brush tool, select again a brush, let's make it smaller, and let's also choose a different color, dark blue, for example. So now if I draw on this layer, so now if I go to draw, it will only draw on top of the yellow. You will see that I am pressing on the white part of the screen, but it only appears on the yellow part. But let's cancel this for now and unselect the alpha lock. Another option we have in this section is the alpha inheritance, which is this little A here, which is the alpha symbol. This is similar to the alpha lock, but if we select this, it will affect all of the different transparencies. So let's make an example. We can select it on our new layer, and let's take the polygon tool and I want a filled in shape. So I will click on tool options, and on fill, I will select foreground color. Choose the color. And now if we go and create a shape, and bring it all the way down, we can double click, it will close in this. You will notice now how, since the layers on top of all of them, it has covered all of the layers below. And the reason why it is visible outside is because the alpha inheritance is also calculating the background. Since the background is fully white, so it is all pixels, it calculates that as well. But if we were to hide the background, so by clicking on the eye icon, then we will have what the shape that we have just created only covering the pixels that we created below, so the circles that we created below. So this makes it very easy to create random shapes if you want them to be clean inside of a shape without having to go in after and cancel out the remainder of the shape. We can show this again by creating a new layer on top. We can select a different color and again go in and start drawing wherever we please. So we can create another sort of mountain here like this, double click, select it, and then by clicking again on the alpha inheritance, it will close in onto here. Let's just make one last example. Again, let's make one last example. Choose a different shade of blue, and then we can start clicking, and create another type of mountain. Again, click the alpha inheritance, and now we have these shapes all within the first yellow circle that we made. If we were to turn on again the eye icon here in the background, all of this would reappear. So that would become a problem. So we turn off the eye icon, and now our alpha inheritance works perfectly. Another way to organize our layers and optimize our work is to assign colors to each layer. So let's say, for example, that now we have been working on this for a while and we have many different layers and we want to organize them better. So maybe we want to divide the 3 mountains from the background. So what we can do is right click on the layer, scroll all the way to the top, and assign a color. So let's say, since the layers are blue, we can assign blue, click, and now when we select a different layer, this one will have a different color. So let's give all of these a blue layer by right clicking on the layer. And we can give the background colors a different color. So let's give them a purple. So now you will notice that our mountain layers have a different color compared to our background colors. And this is just easy when you have various different levels with so many different images and objects on the inside. So this just helps to separate each thing and find it with more ease. Another way to access the layer properties, so also to change the color, but some other details, is by selecting this icon here on the bottom. You will see that the layer properties window will open, and in this window we are able to rename the layer, we are able to choose the opacity of the layer, the blending mode, which we will see further on, the color space profile and the color of the layer, so we can even change it from here if we want. And then we can also see these properties that we have here on the layer. So if it's visible, if it's locked, if we have selected one of the 2 alpha channels, and also these active channels here, which are one of the things that we definitely won't be using as much, but just to give an example, if we deselect, for example, these, the colors will change, but this isn't something that we need right now, so we can click OK. Also, Everything that we can do inside of the layer properties window, mostly we can do directly on these layers, here on the side or here on the icon of the eye. And we can also access this obviously by right-clicking the layer as we did before and selecting properties, and the same window will open up. Another way to organize layers is to create groups. So this is what I mentioned before when we were trying to move elements inside of our layers, and by clicking on tool options we had moved a whole group. So creating groups makes it easier to organize our work again. If we have triple the amount of layers in our layer panel, creating groups will make it easier, and there are various ways of doing so. We can start off by creating a new layer, but we can create a group layer. So we scroll up and we select add group layer. So you will see now that it has created group 6, and you will notice the difference between the other layers because the little icon on this layer is a folder compared to the icons on these layers, which are pages with a pen on top. So what we can do in this case is select what we want to put inside the group. So let's say, for example, we want to put these 3 mountains inside of the group. We select the layer that we want, and then we click on our keyboard the key shift and select the 3 layers. Then we can click anywhere on these 3 layers, pick them up and drag them towards the groups. So you can see now that the group layer has turned a lighter shade of blue. So we can release in here. And now you will notice that all of these are inside of the group 6. And you may also have noticed that they have disappeared. And this is because since we have the alpha inheritance selected, this only works based on the layers below. So in this moment, this option doesn't work when they are inside of a folder. But if we deselect the alpha inheritance, they return visible. If we go back, we can see the other options to group, to create a group. So you can select one, then with your shift key on your keyboard, select the other one. You can right click on either of them, scroll up and select group, quick group. And this again will create a group that we can open or close at ease. And we know that our background colors are in here, that our yellow and red are inside of this group. Another way of doing this is with a keyboard shortcut. We can do this by selecting the 2 layers that we are interested in. Again, select one, then click your shift key on your keyboard and select the other one. And then on your keyboard, you can select Ctrl and the letter G contemporarily, and this will create group. So Ctrl G. So now that we have gone through the basics of the layers, we can end our lesson here. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you have any suggestions or questions, you can leave them in our comment box below. And if you want to give this channel some support, make sure to subscribe and stay updated on all the news and all the new courses that we will be covering. Thanks for following. We will see each other in the next video.